Hi, this is Byron Stripling with the Columbus Jazz Orchestra, and I'm excited because I'm sitting with one of the greats this weekend, the 14th and the 15th, January 14th and 15th, at the Southern Theater here in Columbus, Ohio. We have one of the great artists of all time with us. We're going to celebrate music at the movies, and on our half, we're going to be doing things like You Must Remember This, A Kiss Is Just a Kiss. You all know that song, and you all know all the other songs that we'll be doing too. But the exciting part for us is we get to have Dave Grusin with us on that concert. And he's here with us now, and I have a chance, just a few minutes, because he's rehearsing, to ask him a couple questions. And first of all, thank you so much for being here. It's been our joy to have you here with us. We've wanted to have you with us for a long time.
Thank you.
But you should know, first of all, you're a legend. You know this stuff already. You're a legend in the music business. But when we thought about movies, I immediately thought about you because you've done a bunch of scores and been involved in tons of movies from the very beginning of your career.
Yeah.
But there was one movie I thought about too because I read John Grisham's book, The Firm. Went to the movie and was blown away by the whole thing. But then later in the movie, like halfway through, I realized there's no orchestra in this. It's just piano. And I think that you were trying to make more money by doing that. So you have to tell me the real story.
I'll tell you, the real story is it's expensive to get an orchestra together to do a film score. But when you're by yourself, you make up for that expense in terms of studio time.
Right.
It took us forever to do this thing. But it was, the story is, it was Sidney Pollack's thought. He was shooting this thing in Memphis. And every night he'd run down to BB's club,
BB King's Club? Yeah.
A blues club there.
Yeah.
And he called me one day and said, "What do you think about just the piano score, just the blues score for this thing?" I said, "Sounds great to me," not knowing anything about what he had shot. And then when I got a look at it, it was clearly needed other music other than just blues.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where it all came from, and it was his idea, and he hung in there to the bitter end.
So were there times when you said, Sidney, maybe we ought to add a few strings, pads here, and do this and that?
I didn't go that far, but there were times when I wasn't sure it was going to fly by itself. And every time anybody said anything like that, he said, no, this is what we're going to do. We've committed to this, and this is, I don't care how long it takes you.
Right,
So we do it.
Right.
So that's how that happened.
That is a great story, and I always wondered about that. You know, whether you came in and said, "Hey guys, this is my idea," but I guess when you think about it, the director has a definite idea too of what he wants.
Yeah.
So you go with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which leads us to now this Jack's theme.
Do
you from the Baker Brothers?
The fabulous Baker boys.
Yeah. Baker. See, everything to me is a brother. You know?
Yeah.
So you do this, do you see some clips from the movie and get inspired that way, or does it happen before, during, middle, after? How does that happen?
You know, I actually wrote Jack's theme, which is the main title for the Baker Boys film. I wrote it before I saw anything, just based on what the director and the producer, who were both good friends, I knew it was about a couple of piano-playing brothers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew one of them, Jeff Bridges, who's now a cowboy, but what the heck. I knew he was supposed to be the more serious one in terms of music.
Mm-hmm.
So they needed a little theme for him to play. And that's how this one got started.
Cool.
And then they liked the theme, and he liked it, and then he did these little kind of ad-lib versions of it. And I thought, wait a minute, if we put a little groove behind it, we could make a main title out of this. So that's how that started.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
All these things. Two more things from you. You obviously love the music of West Side Story. And that was first a great, and we all love Bernstein, first a great Broadway show, and then went into a movie, and then you took that music and you said, let's do a whole album.
This was an idea of my record company partner, Larry Rosen, when we were actually just starting a new company called N2K.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to do a jazz version of West Side Story. You know, I'm just confessing to you that it's never my idea. None of these things are my ideas. They're all coming from other people. Anyway, we started talking about it. Phil Ramone came aboard as a producer, and Phil decided that although the original story was based on kind of Puerto Rican culture, that the new culture was Cuban. So the new Latino culture, and whenever we did this, it's a long time ago now. It seems like yesterday, but it's been a while. So that's how that all happened.
Well, that album has become one of the great versions of West Side Story.
Well,
definitive.
You were on it, man.
I was trying. I was trying to hang on to Mike Benny and all those crazy arrangers.
That's right.
The final thing, is there a soft spot for? We're going to do a couple Henry Mancini things.
Right.
When we think about movies, we always have to celebrate him. Is there a soft spot for Henry in your heart?
Absolutely. I still see his wife Jenny. I still run into her. And Hank was, I wouldn't call him a mentor of mine, but he was so kind and so open. Anything you wanted to know about his scores, he'd tell you. He'd say, "Come down, I'll show you what I do." I'd go down to an office where he worked in Hollywood, and he'd bring out a score. There was a picture called Charade, which was full of tension and chases and everything. I looked at that score. It was all whole notes, but he just had a way of working behind the scenes to make a film, to make a scene in a film, get the right tension and everything, just harmonically and so forth. Plus, he was a bebopper in some sense. He had you listen to some of those things. There was a wonderful television show called Peter Gunn.
Yeah.
And every week there was a scene in a club called Mothers, and there was a jazz group in there. They had all the hot players in Hollywood in that band.
Wow.
So Hank was just a favorite of mine, and we miss him terribly.
Yeah. And the album that you did in tribute to him is so great, and one of the great albums of that. And I think he would have also liked the fact that you just didn't do verbatim what he did. It's like you put a little twist on all the tunes that he did. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know what you're in for. The stories that come from Dave Grusin. I've sat behind him on the bus many times, and they're endless. And we hope at the concert that you'll grab the mic and tell a couple of those same stories. You guys get first dibs on because you already heard about the firm, but don't tell your friends. But we want you to join us. Is it the 14th and 15th again of January, Friday and Saturday at the Southern Theater? You'll hear the Columbus Jazz Orchestra, but come to hear one of the masters of great jazz writing, the great Dave Grusin. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks.
We love you.
Thanks so much.